Right. Oh, this guy has a cool profile.
Who?
Chad Max, the Meridians.
Not that cool.
It's not as cool as mine.
I really shouldn't care, but I should just. Never mind. Yeah. So you just. I don't know.
If anyone said anything to me when I command, I didn't have headphones on, so I just thought it was silent in here.
Oh, I wasn't really saying much. I just said your profile was cool.
Here's my genuine thing. And it's kind of comedic, but also real. I felt like a desire to trade the opportunity to save my friend Aquila while trading him the chance to save me. Because I love Aquila, but like one of us is wrong, and if I'm wrong, I want to know, and if he's wrong, I want him to know. I don't know the rest of you. I'm Alex.
Well, what is your position on whatever he is right or wrong about?
Well,
Do you have more something to be specific
is-
about?
Oh god.
if you run on if you give me like a 60-second forgiveness and you don't call me a schizo, I think that in the beginning, I think God is everything, and in the beginning, God.
That's not schizophrenic.
Do you mean like
No,
by
but
everything
I think he
that,
killed
God is
himself. I think he
within-
killed.
wait,
Like if you
hold
want,
on. Do you
he
mean
killed
God is
himself.
within nature?
No, he is
mean like God is-
everything. He is fucking He's not having sex with everything.
Calm down. Do you mean like if I pick up a piece of grass that's God, or that?
The Bible says to let people where they're at.
It's
not
all
force them
the
to come
explode.
close.
You mean if I can't talk, I just go to another room. It's fine.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay,
But I
have
mean,
fun.
you don't have to. Like if you, it's.
I was
I think
asking
that.
Chad a question. I don't know why there's the LGBTQ person trying to answer for Christians.
Yeah, and I'm glad God sent Jesus to die for me. Amen. Thank
No,
you.
but, I mean that's fine, but like when I look at it, I used to believe that based on trust, based in faith that my mother had, thought it out. But then the more I thought about it, the more
by someone else's faith. Your faith.
No, that's
is
when I was a
formed from your
baby.
personal relationship in God.
I never that went away.
The arrogance.
I don't know anyone that's talked to God that has told me any words that wouldn't come from a man. I would love to believe if it's true, but I cannot find a reason. I don't know even what I can't even find one reason.
Anybody that's talked to God that hasn't said any words from a man? Can you be more specific?
I haven't met anyone who said anything that I think.
I talk to God all the time.
No.
So
That God spoke
you're
to
holding
them.
the existence of God based
That
on the standard that you set.
Him.
No, God talks to me as well.
But I've never heard anyone quote God in any way that made it believable. Like if it's something a small man could say to you, then I'm probably going to be like, you could have just made it up. Like, what does he say to you?
You're presupposing HXP saying something that HXP might not be saying. Just ask.
Well, I also got interrupted instantly, instantly after the one person asks, what do you believe? And I'd never, 7 interruptions. Which breaks trains of thought, and I have a genuine thought and a worldview. But it doesn't often get heard, and you got to sort of beg for, politeness and respect.
I can give you examples of things I've.
No, I didn't get to finish, and you interrupted yourself. I don't want examples.
Well,
you asked me something, and you didn't give a shit if I was able to finish telling you.
Let's try again. What did you want to say?
Well,
and let's.
I didn't have anything I specifically. I want to save you, or I want you to save me, because it's the most important thing that is, whether or not we're right or I'm right. It's the biggest question in the history of the universe, and we're on opposite sides. We're on opposite sides. I'm not against you.
The premise is a bit wrong because God is our savior.
But I don't. Those are words that, other than a man writing them, that would not be in my lexicon or understanding or truth. And we might have to save God. God maybe gave us a huge gift. Maybe God didn't create us.
What is your truth predicated on?
The truth, respect for the truth, is the best I can do as a Homo sapien. Don't lie. It means white lives matter. Don't lie. That's all. That's the best I can do. Is
predicated on.
My understanding of truth is predicated on never speaking of anything that you don't truly believe to be true. not lying. I don't know what the truth is. The truth is God. Honesty is God. God is the truth, right? But God, like whether it's the truth that you say with all the extra thousands of pages is a question I wish we didn't have to discuss. I wish we were discussing how to actually end refugeeism, but we're not. It just isn't.
Completely. So
But I have a
like
view,
whatever.
and I can believe my view. I would like to believe your view if it's true. But nobody's telling me anything that is
But right now,
making
I'm trying to
me.
figure out what even Chad. How you predicate truth? I have no idea how you predicate truth. I don't even think you know how you predicate truth. Can you
I
repeat that
don't.
one more time? How you predicate truth?
Todd's-
What your truth is
Todd's-
predicated in?
So how about you tell me
Todd's-
how you predicate truth? That's not how I discuss it.
No,
Like-
no. Don't think Cod's. You're just taking this like, well, you're no good. Like your approach. What's your? It's like, encourage this guy, like Chad. Like, with our Lord, He promises, if you seek, you'll find. And you're looking for an argument to convince you, and you just to be convinced and move forward. But God is so far above us. God is so different to us. That you can't just say like, here's a conclusion, or this is a position, or like, sell me like this vacuum
No,
cleaner. It's like, convince me.
anything.
It's good.
Anything beautiful that like is profound and not like weird, like anything. What is give me the big thing? I need something. If he's so big then and so different, you can't even understand him, and you wouldn't even know if he were there.
Okay. So, Chad, what would it take for you to be convinced that God is real?
I don't know. I'd need one sentence from somebody. Like I'd need like that isn't the sentences that anybody's saying. Like what I right now, having been a Catholic and over 50 years, right? I cannot steelman the position, and I'm very smart. I cannot steelman the Christian position. I can't. I'm very smart, and I can't do it. I can't even find one thing that I would bring to the argument that I think would change any mind. There's fear, and there's mystery, and there's 5,000 years ago, and there's like kids are guilty for the sins of their fathers. There's all these things that are wrong with it, but I can't find one that says
You're
this
jumping-
is the
What makes that
reason.
wrong?
This is the
You're going
reason.
you're overthinking it way too much.
Chad,
I'm never gonna. You can't overthink God.
That's
That's
Chad,
crazy.
What makes that wrong that people are guilty for things that their parents did? Since I can give you analogies realistically outside of original sin, how that still applies.
Okay, do it.
Simple. Let's give the analogy of a monarch. When a monarch does something wrong, so detrimental to the overall rule of his kingdom, when rebels specifically kick him off his throne and he has children, do those children receive any consequences as a result of what their father did, even though they did nothing wrong against the father's
I mean, I need the
enemies?
right word for your fallacy, but that means nothing. That's just a mob murdering a child. Doesn't mean the kid is fucking guilty.
wait a
They're
second.
just killing him.
Wait a
What does
second.
guilty? What does guilty mean?
Chad, you're
Does
jumping.
the child
Chad,
suffer the consequences
Chad,
for what his father
Look,
did?
don't
doesn't-
make me mute you. Don't
Me?
make me mute you. Chad, you're jumping ahead. When a king abdicates, all his kids no longer become monarchs. They've lost the royalty.
Royalty
the point
is
he was
not
getting.
real, so that does not helping you. It's a fake
is real.
thing that's taken away. It doesn't mean anything. If you have an army, it means
Chad.
nothing.
Chad, according to the very governmental system of a monarchy, they have a right to that throne.
There's no governmental system that I respect talking about itself in
Wait a second.
existence.
I didn't ask what you respect. I asked about what's real.
Just
You
made
said
up
that's
shit.
not real. Wrong.
I'm saying a made-up
Completely wrong,
government
Chad.
can
Chad,
judge
Chad, you
itself.
said you were smart, but now you're showing yourself to be a complete idiot. So
Don't
let's be
think
smart.
so, though.
Don't say it's not real when it has been real for thousands of
Chad,
years. It is
How
real.
is it real other than the knights?
Chad, can you see the big problem here? You come in here, you're looking someone to convince me, someone to say anything. You don't listen to anyone else.
I didn't say I just wanted to listen. I've heard all your story before, and every time I ask,
Wasn't
no
Chad-
one
you have
gives
no
me.
reputation.
Chad, if you came here just to yell at us and not to listen to anyone, I will just ban you from the room right now.
That's not it. You know
come
that's
here
not
to
it.
yell.
You know, you
Chad,
let people interrupt
you
the
have to
shit
hear
out of
Chad.
me.
Chad, the red line in the sand is you come here to yell at people, you are out.
Well,
End
if
of
you-
story.
If that's
Make
fake.
a
If you
choice.
say that, I'm talking.
Make a choice.
Not
Are
here
you
to
going
yell
to
at
yell at
anyone.
people?
Chad, you're not talking. If you were
I'm not
talking,
yelling.
then you would be speaking
this
with the
guy-
same tone of voice as I am. What I'm making by arguing.
I can't hear myself. Is my mic loud?
Agatha,
I'll turn
I
it
respect
down.
you greatly.
I'm just talking.
Agatha, I respect you greatly, but you're not going to do this here right now. Chad needs to make a decision. Are you going to have a conversation, or are you just going to yell at people? Tell me now.
I answered that out loud. I'm just talking. I turned my mic down to 67%. I don't know why people think I'm yelling, but I'm not hearing myself, and usually
The
people don't say
question
I'm
is,
yelling.
option A, you have a normal conversation. Option B, you interrupt and yell at people. Make a choice right now.
You're talking
I would
with
be.
people or to them.
But is that fine? I hopefully all talking to one another.
Talking with each other or
Talking
to
with
someone.
one another
There's
is
a
even
difference.
better. Yes. I'm not. If you really think I'm
Chad-
here to fight with someone, you're an
Chad,
asshole.
have you noticed you haven't even answered my question? You've
What is
sidestepped
it?
it.
I don't know what question I've sidestepped. The other guys were talking at the same time
Chad,
often.
are you going to have a no, Chad? Are you just going to rant at people? Or are you going to have like a normal conversation?
I mean, I'm not going to rant. Normal
so you're
conversations
not gonna
don't
say
happen that
something.
often. I mean, this
Chad,
isn't normal.
Chad,
This is
it's
God.
so simple. He's saying, are you just going to engage with the topic, or are you just simply going to say, quote, that's not real, who gives a shit? That's not a response. It's not a rebuttal. That's yelling and really just throwing words around.
That's
That
not
mean nothing.
yelling because
Yeah,
what you can yell
Agatha was trying to give you
anything.
an example, and all you could say in response to him while you cut him off is like, no, I don't believe in that. I have no care about what the government does because of this, that. It's not real. It's not real. So you came in here asking us, a room full of Christians, convince me that God is real. And Agatha was starting off with an example. So do you want to be receptive, or do you just want to like yell and say that we all believe in like some fake God or something? What's your intention here?
That's not my intention either. I mean, I'm a little stressed out because everyone kind of like acting like I'm an asshole, and I got interrupted, and it bothered me. Badly interrupted. I don't.
That's a bit rich.
After being asked a question, I didn't come in here and start talking.
Okay, so why don't we start over then?
Okay.
We talk with each other instead of to each other. Okay, you're having a conversation with a person. Okay, you're trying to share ideas with them to come to a truth. So, can you respond to what Agatha would ask you? Maybe Agatha, if you rephrase it, or say it again.
It's so simple. You're saying that it's not real. Well, first and foremost, let's look historically. There are historical examples of where there are monarchs that reigned. Let's say during the French Revolution, the French monarch, when he was ruling, he did certain things that certain people didn't like. Now, due to his act, whether good or evil, in this case, we can argue that it was evil in some regards, he gave certain leeway to certain individuals. Now, this specific king, King Louis XVI, he was not a good man. He was an evil man. And due to his evil acts towards his people, it led to a revolution in some capacity. He wasn't treating his people very well, and due to his transgression, any perceived successor to his throne suffers the detrimental consequences of his actions, because now there's no monarchy, which means that there is no legal right for any of his descendants to rule, which they otherwise had during the reigning monarch's lifetime and prior. Why are his children left out now, and why do they not have the right to the throne anymore?
I mean, that is, and you're probably gonna fucking mute me. Like you said, we're gonna keep it simple, and that if we're keeping it simple, that was the worst beginning ever for keeping it simple. A French monarchy like that. What does that have to do with the question? There's
because you asked
there's
me an
nothing.
example on someone being guilty.
Hold on,
for
cuts,
someone
cuts.
else
It's fine.
did.
It's fine.
Sure.
Your
Monarchy
specific
is-
accusation was you don't understand how people can be held responsible, guilty, or suffer the consequences due to actions of their parents. Meaning
Right.
you were attacking the doctrine of original sin.
Legitimately like guilty, not just someone could say you're guilty because but actually guilty, whatever the definition of guilty is. Like an honest authority would look at you and say, you have responsibility for what someone did before you existed, something you could not in normal logic have responsibility for. The monarchy to me is made up. Like I'm not gonna I think it's more I don't know if it's more made up than some gods, but the monarchy has no authority in logic. It's just force. Legal rights in most cases are just the ability to put force upon other people.
No, that's a dictatorship, not a monarchy. An authoritarian dictatorship is force. A monarchy is not. That's actually why we see in many monarchies there is still the maintenance of an aristocracy present, even under the rule of the monarch.
I
Which
just
means
meant
that there
rights.
are dukes, archdukes. There are people who reign, nevertheless, under the reigning monarch or emperor. It's not as if it's just one man rules and he doesn't seek the advice or he doesn't delegate authority to those less than him. He
Sure,
does.
you can't reverse engineer that to philosophy, but to any like real study of knowledge, though.
But I can, because let's say the monarch's son was the archduke, and he was going to be the reigning successor to his father, and due to his culpability in his father's actions, meaning he didn't prevent his father's actions. Now you would say, well, he wasn't there, right? But that's the problem: is because the evil still transgressed, and he didn't do anything about it. He could be held culpable, both through guilt. I mean, of course, he could be punished by people because of the very fact that he's attributed with his father in the act, even if he didn't personally do it. And two, he receives the consequences because if his father's knocked out of office and the whole monarchy collapsed, then it doesn't matter. He has no authority now. He's never going to be the reigning monarch, and he's going to lose his authority as archduke.
I mean, that's specious as fuck. Like, I was saying, that's kind of mind-boggling. Like, to go to an earthly example like that instead of sticking in logic, like that anyone with power can do exactly what you said, irrelevant of any logic. Any kid can be punished by any group that has power. That's it. That
Right,
doesn't.
and in this-
You can
and in
cancel those out like in a mathematical equation. That does
And
not
in
apply
original
to the
sin,
discussion.
who's the one that has power to punish for the wrongdoing of the reigning monarch? In this case, Adam, the monarch of the human family. God. So God's punishing for the wrongdoing. Okay, does every child of Adam suffer that guilt? Yes, he's held guilty because obviously God's not going to let him reap that benefit that he otherwise would have had in Adam, one. Two, he has the consequences because just like Adam's going to die, they're going to die too. And they're never going to have that glory again.
But in
And that doesn't mean they can't
Christianity, you
achieve that
don't.
glory. God gave them a king to reign over them himself, the Lord Jesus Christ.
But
So
many
they do
people
have an
have told
opportunity
me
to come back now.
in this room, I've even told you, like in Christianity, nobody ever actually dies. Like, and it wasn't that I learned that here. You never actually die in Christianity ever. Nobody does.
You do.
Not forever.
Mortal-
you don't really
mortal
die.
death.
But
You
you're
die your
every-
mortal death and you die your second death.
But you're still alive forever. It's never over.
Well,
It's
when you say
never
it's not
over.
never over, you're just talking about the immortality of the soul.
And yeah, and I don't know what that is. Like, and I, as an inventor, I can't steal man's soul either. Genuinely, like if I could, I'd tell you.
What do you think a soul is?
It's just a word to describe things that happen in our mind, in our minds, which I think are part of the exploded mind and body of God, who gave everything for us.
No, the soul can be deduced. The soul is the animating force of the body. The very reason why the body is animate is because of the soul. This
What
applies
animates
to
a
all living
fish?
things.
A soul
Yes,
is
fish
a
have
breath
an
of
animalistic
life.
soul.
Fine, it's the breath of life. Fine, I'll
is
take
an
that.
infinite, God is an infinite source of creation.
But from what though? Like what? Like I think that
What do you
God,
mean from what? He is the source
of
all
himself. I don't think God can raise his hands like the Night King. Like I think God's like, I want to create this fucking world. Sorry, I want to create this world for children of
This is what I
mine.
asked you, Chad, before. What
But
do you
Chad,
try to keep truth in?
notice how you're
I
talking.
can't do multiple
I want to
people.
create
You gotta,
this
like,
world.
That's
Well,
the
that's one of
issue
Justin.
with.
You have a very perverted view of God. You think God is like our best pal? No, he's not. He's
I
not your
don't
best
think
pal.
that. I
From the
didn't
very
say
moment
that.
you're born, you're his enemy.
I said no.
Because
That's insane to me. That is the
Chad,
worst thing
Chad,
you
it's
said.
not
I
insane.
just have
Chad,
to
it's not
say
insane.
that's
It's not
some
insane. The reason why it's
fear-based
insane-
mind control type of shit. You're weird as
Chad,
fuck.
the reason why it's insane to you is because you actually convince yourself you're good, you're smart.
No,
Well,
but I'm not bad
you're
enough
not
to be
smart
anyone's
because you were
enemy.
smart. If you were
I'm not-
smart, you would have never ever offended your neighbor. You would have never done anything
Yeah, I
wrong.
just have to say,
Smart enough not
Agatha,
to-
you still have an ego. You just pretend like you don't. You
Okay.
made
He
your
sounds
whole
like he
new
has a-
ego
he's
that you're so humble,
tremendous.
but you're
HXP,
self-righteous. piece of
HXP.
shit.
Believe it or not, transgressor, all people have an ego.
I'm
Believe
not
it
a
or not.
transgressor. I'm
Ego's a
transcendental.
word. It doesn't
Amen.
exist. I'm,
No, you're
I'm
a transgressor,
transcendent.
transvestite.
I'm
And what you
transcendent.
got is not
Hear
relevant.
me. I
Chad,
come
Chad,
from
Chad,
the source of all things. I
Chad,
come
do
from the
you not
source of all things.
This is fucked up. AJ,
I
speak.
come
Can I
from
go?
the source of all things.
Okay, listen, hold
Now you're
on
being
a
trolled.
second, guys. Take a deep breath.
Oh boy,
Chad, you
this
came
son
in
of
here.
Lucifer can't help himself.
Chad, you came in here saying that you're very, very smart. You've heard every single argument before. and you still can't explain to us like what your definition of truth is predicated
how I
on. And
predicate
then you have
truth.
hold on, I'm not done.
Oh, sorry.
And then you have the audacity to say, well, I don't think God can do this. I don't think God can do that. Or when Agatha made a comment, which I wouldn't even necessarily like start off by making that argument, you then said that's insane. Okay, now it could be
He
the
said
case
God's
that
my
it is
enemy.
insane, but no, hold on.
He said I'm
It-
God's
I said
very-
you're
it
an
could
enemy
very
of
well-
God.
Exactly.
It could
That's
very well,
insane.
It could very well be the case that it is insane, or it could very well that you don't. Could very well be the case.
I'm
that,
not
you
God's
don't think
enemy.
that God acts this way.
That's
But
insane.
Chad,
how do you derive your
Chad.
truth, and what?
I can't be the enemy of
you
that which doesn't
understand
even
what is right or
effing
wrong in this
exist.
case?
But even if God, I wouldn't be his enemy.
Chad, notice what you're saying. You can't be the enemy of that which that
Doesn't
which does not
exist.
So you're already presupposing that it doesn't exist. Yet
You're-
you do believe in causation. You do believe things are caused and therefore they exist. But you don't actually make the logical entailment because, contrary to your claim that you're smart, you're actually quite intellectually disabled. Meaning you don't have the capacity to recognize and logically deduce that if everything within the approximate universe is necessarily caused, and it denotes that which causes it.
I don't know what caused it though. It goes back. It
You're
regresses
very,
forever.
very unintellectual.
It
very
regresses
sadly
forever,
foolish.
and you know that.
When you-
Infinite
No,
regression.
the universe is not forever.
I don't conceive of a
There is
beginning.
no infinite regression.
I don't
There's no
believe in a
infinite
beginning.
regression.
I don't have
The
to believe
universe
in a
is
beginning.
forever.
Okay, so you made that
Chad,
claim.
To infinity
I
and
can prove that infinite
beyond.
regression is absurd because if you say that there's an infinite regression, then you can't believe in any such thing as causation.
I can believe in
Causation
whatever-
doesn't
whatever
exist.
I think is
Chad, how would you
logical.
define time? What's your definition of time, Chad?
Time
God
is
is
time is
everything everywhere all
travel,
at once.
probably. Time is travel. Time is change. Like time may not existed before God let go.
Time is
I think
change.
God by
I
himself.
agree.
There was no time when God was by himself. When God blew himself up to create us, because he doesn't have superpowers, he had to give his body.
God didn't blow himself
and he
up.
did. You
God's
don't know
not the
that?
universe.
Yes, he did. Yes, he fucking did. You
No,
don't
he
know
didn't.
that. Why do I have to
No, he
respect
didn't.
your view just because 2 billion dummies believe it? You
Chad,
can't
I'll
respect
tell you why. Because
mine.
if God expands and undergoes change, then he himself has a beginning and therefore is not eternally God.
No, it could
He's no different to a
it
created
could be a
being.
pulsing God, right? It could be the heartbeat of the
is why
superverse.
I
Is God
asked-
No,
living and
that's
dying,
the
living and
heresy.
dying,
No,
living and
that's-
dying. Well, you
Chad,
can't
that's
burn
the
us
false
anymore,
doctrine.
dude. You can't
That's the
burn
false
us
doctrine
anymore, so you got
of
nothing.
The Epicureans. The Epicureans believe that God contracts and retracts. That's a false doctrine
Okay,
because
how do
that
you
means
know?
that God changes. If God changes, he's no better than you.
If he changes, then there's no reason to pray ever if he doesn't change.
Okay, let's back up.
Chad,
Okay.
Chad.
What are you
it's because
praying?
he
You're praying to
doesn't
become
change, you should
closer
pray
to a
him.
concrete God that never changes and can't become your friend or love you, and you're his enemy? That doesn't sound
What do you mean?
insane.
He is essentially on it. But Chad, you see how blasphemous your doctrine of God is? It's absurd. God has to change to love you. Why can't God just be of him of
You
his own
said
self?
already, like,
Love.
how
Does
can
he
he
have to
change
love you
when he-
when you exist to have a relationship with you, or can he love you from all eternity because he's essentially love, making him truly loving?
You lost me at Suchley.
Your false idea is God, in order to have a relationship with us, he has to change, meaning he has to start loving you, which is quite absurd because if he has to start loving you, meaning he didn't do it before,
Forgiveness is
he's
change.
really not a loving God.
Forgiveness is change. That's what it is. It's a change.
Forgiveness is not a change; it's a change in you, meaning you
It's
being
a-
from the
it's a
state of guilty
change.
and now
And
on top
considered
of that,
without
Chad,
you.
guilt.
you're just asserting, Chad, that you know the truth, and you're making all
I
of these
don't.
presuppositions
I don't think
about
that.
how God is. You've already presupposed God. I don't even know what your definition of God is, and then you're critiquing Agathos' definition.
Well, he believes
of
in a God who changes, has a beginning, and is certainly not worthy
And-
of our worship because he wouldn't even pray to that God.
Like this weird pulsating God. Like, what is this? Where did you get this from, Chad?
That's the God of the Epicureans. The Epicureans believe that God contracts and retracts with the motion of the universe. That's how he interacts with it.
The only question here is there one crazy weird God in the room, or are there two? Right? That's the only discussion because your God's weird as shit, and you know it.
What's weird about my God? My God essentially is what he
Your
is.
God- what's
has
weird about him?
change. Your God has a beginning, and your God, in order to have a relationship with us, he has to develop it once we exist.
You can't
That's
steal
a horrible
man.
God.
You can't steal man. Like, what is weird about your God? Really? Like, you haven't
There's nothing
talked
weird
with-
about my God.
Nothing?
I just demonstrated how you proposed infinite regression. Infinite regression is logically absurd and reduces to nothing because when you believe in infinite regression, that means you don't believe in primordial causation. There is no such thing as a first cause. Therefore, you can't even tell me there's a chain to begin with.
I'm not saying there's a chain. There is causation. I can't see the
That's what
beginning,
infinite-
and I
that's what
don't
infinite
waste
regression
my
means.
time pretending to be Einstein.
Chat.
What?
Infinite
God-
regression
is
denotes
very
there's an
smart.
infinite chainal causation that takes place into the future and from eternity past. Well, how would I even be able to assume there is such a chain if I cannot even denote the primordial cause of any subsequent causation?
You can't determine shit.
You
You know
can't.
it goes forever in the future, right? You know,
I
there's
can
no
determine
end
shit,
going
because if
forward,
I
right? There's no
grant-
end, so there's no
If I
there's
grant
no
that
beginning.
change denotes temporality, as you admitted about the universe and matter change, therefore I can denote temporality. If I can denote temporality, I can negate eternality. If I can negate eternality, I can denote causation primordially from that which caused and yet itself is not
Are
caused.
you reading?
No.
Well, it sounded
not reading
like
anything.
It sounded like you were reading or had
No, he's
honestly
always like-
No, it's
practiced
just
the
because
shit out of
I've
that.
responded to this absurd argument several
Which
times
my-
about well,
my
I'll just
exact
say the universe is
argument-
infinite.
My exact. I'm not.
Yes,
that's
infinite
not.
regret. I've addressed the ridiculous understanding.
No,
of
but that's
infinite
not what we
regression.
were talking. Like, right? You said I was talking to Cods. He's like, your fucking weird ideas, right? So I was talking to him. I said that yours is weird, and I asked if any of you could point out what a smart atheist would say about your religion that's
I don't
weird
think
as
you're
fuck,
tracking.
and none of you can say
Chad,
anything, even though you
Chad,
know
people would
other
reckon-
atheists can walk in here and bring a bunch of shit that
Chad,
you have to deal with.
Christopher Hitchens would be reckoned an intellectual atheist, yet his arguments against God are, quite frankly, so pathetic that they're not even really worth a response, but several responses have been given nevertheless.
You know, I'm curious, Chad. How did your God reveal himself to us, to mankind?
I have not had like a singular revelation. I didn't say that I know that God killed himself again at the Big Bang. I said I think it's
wasn't the question.
most likely that God is everything, and to make us and to create freedom, he had to let go of the reins totally. Otherwise, we're not
Okay,
free.
so
I think, why can't you dignify that brilliant and possibly real idea?
Because all you've told
That's
me
a
so far
horrible
is that you
idea.
think. All you've told me so far is that you think that this and you think that. Whereas you're
Well,
trying to ask us if our God is weird. I don't know. It seems
But
like
I-
our God has revealed himself to us. He's revealed himself to man for thousands of years faithfully. We're able to have a
Not even that,
relationship-
God's.
We're able to have a
Our God
relationship
is
with this
logically
He's
coherent.
consistent. Exactly.
His
He's
God is
logically coherent, he's
incoherent.
consistent.
Tangible, worthless, quite frankly. You
What are
even
you,
admitted that your
Darth?
God
Like, what do you- I haven't
hypothetically
s-
killed himself. Your God killed himself?
Our God, and I
You don't
said
care to
I
say
said
God.
No,
that's a
your
matter
God
of.
Jesus
is
Christ is
a
God.
false God. My God is the eternal God.
My
Your
God
is
made a bigger
immutable,
sacrifice
changeable,
than yours. My God gave more
devilish
than yours.
God.
He
What do you
gave
mean?
his
My God
life and
himself-
his body
my
and
God
his
himself-
mind. He gave
My
everything
God
to create
himself
us, and
doesn't
yours
die
is
in his
small.
divinity, which would negate his eternality.
No, we're
whereas
still
your
here.
God, according to your perception, dies in his divinity, thus undergoing an essential change in his substance, therefore making him a mutable, changeable God, not even the eternal God. He's no different to Zeus or Odin or Thor or any of these other false gods that are weak, pathetic, and could really be stomped on by their so-called creation.
My God is the
Okay,
same as
so
Thor.
in the time of this conversation, all you did was say, "My God
He
good,
takes
your
food.
God bad." Like
Well,
that's all
actually,
you
no, I
did.
proved my God's
So-
logical, his God is illogical and
You
incoherent.
didn't prove that at all. You just said that you proved
Actually,
it.
I did.
I'll go
I
y'all
proved
in.
that if
You're-
mutability is present in your God, then your God has a beginning.
Okay, and the
therefore
Bible
is
also
caused.
says if you said it 3 times, then fucking walk away. Why are you like going on and on like a broken record?
HXP,
Fuck.
I understand that you couldn't just adapt to the hormones God gave you, but that doesn't
Yeah,
mean you
you're
have
mad.
to spew
You're
out
mad.
the verbal diarrhea just because you're trying to implant something else here.
Agatha,
Okay.
Agatha, please don't troll people because they have a background. Like some people were atheists, some people are transsexual, some people are gay, some people. Please don't troll people.
And they're all
from
going to
what's
go
in
to
your
hell for
heart.
that.
To be honest, Aquila,
Well-
HXP is interrupting the debate to just attack Agatha.
He's just
What?
throwing around insults which are not relevant.
There wasn't really a debate. It's just Chad just yelling about his ideas and imaginings and not listening to anyone.
Is that really
Yeah,
what you
right.
think happened, though?
The
Genuinely,
arrogance,
that's what
like,
this
that's
was.
how much they love Discord.
Okay, well,
Discord.
see,
You're on
it's
here
not
to
about
talk to
arrogance.
people. I know, yeah.
It's about
But the same thing
it's not
over and
about
over again.
arrogance. It's
So
about
far,
the very
Chad-
fact that because we know, we have an obligation to tell, and because we have an obligation to tell,
Oh
we
my
also have an
god!
obligation to
Can you
refute
not? Can
ridiculous
you read
ideas.
normally? Can you read out of your mind and
HXP,
stop like rehearsing
HXP.
what you taught yourself?
HXP, it's not rehearsing. It's
Are
simply
you a
addressing
human
the
or a
argument.
robot? Are you
we
gonna
made.
engage or engage with what I'm saying?
HXP, I engage with everything Chad said.
He's not even engaging with what people are saying. He's just like he's like a robot. This is scary.
It's not great.
HXP, please don't troll Agatha. That's how Agatha always speaks.
I'm not trolling. He's like a robot. It's
I've
scary.
known Agatha for almost a year now. I can affirm that this is how he always
Yeah.
is. It's
Well,
completely
you
fine.
think he learned enough of human to fucking mimic your like cadence?
Well,
God.
I don't
You mean
care
I
about
should
how
act like an
perceived
idiot
cadence
like
is right or
you,
wrong.
where I just say,
No,
God is
no,
loving,
please.
don't care about logic? Why would I do
don't,
that?
Don't dehumanize Agatha, please. Let's
Can we
just be
just-
kind to each other, please.
Why are you
Uh,
tone policing?
Aquila.
What do you get out of
Can
that?
we just
Wait a second.
can we just
Why am I
mute
I
this
just want to call out a
transgender, please?
hypocrisy. Why am I
This
tone
isn't like
policing?
a
You're just
meat
doing
grinder.
that right now by saying I'm talking like a robot.
Yeah, it's not a meat grinder. It's Catholic chat. Let's try and please be kind to each other.
Aquila.
I want to go to a Catholic church.
Okay,
Come on,
so
we were
Chad,
talking
so far,
here.
so far,
Cons,
Chad,
I'm
you've
asking
asserted that our God.
Aquila.
Hold on, Chad. So far, all you've done is you've asserted that something is weird, and you've asserted, okay, all these different things about our Lord Jesus Christ. You
I
don't
just
have
didn't talk to
didn't-
someone
that's-
that's
I
actually
didn't-
on
I
his
You
didn't
never
level.
shut up, HXP?
I didn't do that.
You know how to shut up, HXP?
Yeah, I'm willing to, but it's like
Well,
you're
so you
talking
should
to
to try it
someone that doesn't
sometime.
even care. Why are you
So
talking to someone that doesn't
sometime.
care?
So you should try it sometime when people are speaking.
I
He
do
doesn't
care.
care.
That's why I'm giving him those responses.
Well-
you think I'm responding directly to
I
his
know, but
arguments
it's
because I
like
don't
two
care?
walls talking to each other.
I'm
Like,
not a
what?
wall.
Okay, well, maybe
Okay.
you need to go walk off.
Well,
the
hold
wall
up,
and
hold
talk to the wall.
Todd, HXP, if you want to talk to someone, we can go to another VC. Even though this is my room, if you want to talk with me or another person, we can go to a different VC because they're really having a philosophical argument. We can have a different kind of talk in
Aquila,
another
I
room.
was trying to talk to you when I first came in. I know you and I like you. Like they took it over.
Yeah, I'd rather hear you and him talk. I don't want to hear this
Aquila,
guy anymore.
you're much better from my perspective and much kinder than they are.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Like, do you agree with all
Thank
the
you.
things? Like, you may think I'm yelling, but I think that's hyperbole because I've not been yelling or interrupting much. But he said
This guy
he said
doesn't
a
even
bunch
realize the word he's saying. He's just like,
Like I said a bunch of stuff about me. Like he said a bunch of shit that wasn't true. About, and I know you wouldn't agree with all of it because I think you're an honest man. Like he spoke to me hyperbolically and disrespectfully, and in some cases dishonestly, and certainly
You called our
presumptuously
God
as fuck.
weird. You called our God
Of course,
weird.
he impregnated a married woman. He is weird. He
How's
tricked
that
the guy
weird?
into almost killing his kid because he didn't already know the
Okay,
answer.
you're
He
jumping all
just.
over the place. Why is that weird? What is your standard for something being weird?
I have a son
that's
named
just
Abraham.
scary.
That's why. I have a son named Abraham. That's
You
why
have a
that's
son
weird
named
to
Abraham?
me. It's part of
How
why
does
like
your
it's
son
connected.
everything?
I'm
Notice
son
the
named
straw man
Abraham.
of the biblical account. You said he tested a man because he didn't know. Not
He-
correct. Doesn't
He
say
knew
didn't
ahead
know.
of time. He knows everything. He knew what was going to happen. He just ran the experiment anyways. Like,
No.
so that's
no, he
weird.
he tested his children and his servants because of the very fact that he wants them to prove themselves.
Talking snake is
Not for
weird.
his sake, for their
Talking
sake.
snake is weird.
Mac,
He
When-
also
if I
tested
test
them
my
so that they
child to
can
do
learn.
something, I want them to be successful. I want them to understand that it's for a purpose and that it's for their good, not for my amusement, my entertainment, or anything on my behalf.
And God does that throughout the entire
Yep.
Bible, where He puts people.
But he did a
through certain
miracle to
tests.
teach
For
something of
example,
that.
even in the book of
just
Judges.
a quick little point. Like, you know how our Lord says, like, if you've do not commit adultery. But if you look at a woman with lust, you've already done that in your heart. He wanted of Abraham being willing to give up even the thing he most desired in this life, which was to have children, like to even give up his son. He didn't want Abraham to kill his son,
I know.
but he wanted Abraham in his heart to be able to give up even that which was most precious to him for
But it's-
greater things.
It is
And
weird
so-
though.
Abraham already knew how God is. Like he already told his son, God will provide. And so it was never about, like trying to kill the son there. Maybe it's like a foreshadowing that
Christ.
God would offer his own son in sacrifice for us. But it was just so that Abraham could make that offering in his heart. But instead, like our Lord provided, he offered a goat. A male sheep that was
What
caught in
about the?
Lamb.
That's a decent answer. What about? It's not a great answer, I don't think, but it's a decent answer. What about is it weird that he had a child of a sort with a married woman? Is that weird? Can you understand how other people would see that as weird?
Why are you saying he had a child as if
God
he had sexual
had a
relations with
child,
Mary?
whatever. She was married,
No.
and he put and there
Right.
was some kind of a God being inside of her that was born
No, God
the
was
normal
never
way.
inside of anyone. That's
No, the baby.
assertion.
Jesus was inside of Mary. Bullshit.
No,
He was
no,
inside of
that's
Mary.
false.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, let me
So there
let me
is the
address.
fulfillment.
Wait,
There is hold on, Michael. There is the fulfillment.
Aquila, these guys are not
There was
good. They will
foreshadow
lose
in
you,
the book of
believers.
There
They'll
was
lose you, believers.
there was prophecy that was being fulfilled from Isaiah 7:14, okay, as well as throughout the entire book of Isaiah, and it was simply them affirming that. It was the fulfillment of the law, which was a shadow of the good things to come. God didn't have sexual relations with Mary. That never
Didn't say
happened.
he
There's
did.
nowhere
Didn't
in
say that.
scripture.
Didn't say that.
Okay.
You're just pretending I
you
said
said he
things.
came into Mary as if he just simply teleported there, or
I did.
no, it's simply
No, you said teleported.
Mary
I just
got-
said he made
No.
a baby with a
She
married
conceived
woman.
by the Holy Spirit.
Wait a second. Why do you keep saying he made a baby? You
'Cause it's
mean that for
weird.
miraculous means he made a woman conceive without seed, which is other than the norm, and the child she gave birth to was God Himself, who became her son.
Yeah.
Okay, but she was
conceived by
married,
the
so it's
Holy
weird.
Spirit.
That's all.
what the Bible tells us.
But you
I was-
won't admit
wait,
anything's
wait a
weird.
second.
Which,
What does it have to do with her being married? Since her marriage had nothing to do with sexual relations, one, and two is that it's not a sexual act that a man does with his wife for it to be problematic in the case of marriage.
I mean, fine. If that satisfies you, fine. There's many things.
Notice
There's like
how you don't
turning
have an
water
argument, you
into
just have emotion.
Because an argument against the story. Like I didn't yell or moan. I said things.
Ted, what's the logical argument? I don't care what's weird.
For what?
I think everything you say
The
is weird,
art
as well as
is
it's illogical.
weird and doesn't work out, right? Turning water into wine when you just could clean the water is weird. Alcohol is poison that fucks with people and makes them behave like shit. So turning water into wine is weird.
That's when they get
there
intoxicated.
are so many things.
Actually, there are many studies that show that alcohol is very healthy for individuals to drink, at least occasionally, which is exactly why the Jews drank it occasionally. It's also used as a natural remedy, a medicine. That's exactly why God prescribed in the Old Testament for the sick and dying as a sort of pain reliever. But you, instead of acknowledging those benefits, you just say, well, people get drunk. That's because they misuse what God gave.
Yeah, also moderate amounts of alcohol can actually benefit your cardiovascular health.
It's weird to not have slavery in the Ten Commandments, right? That's
You see how
weird.
you're jumping like 5 times now?
Yeah, because it's a list of different things.
So, Chad,
You guys have to.
You've actually read the Old Testament, Chad, but not only not only were the slaves, all right.
Well, it's weird that he doesn't have any daughters. It's weird that he's a man.
Okay, not only were the slaves under the Old Covenant, and obviously throughout the entire Bible, given more rights than they would have been if they were Gentiles under Gentile nations. Right? God set a bunch of standards as to how to treat said slaves, even after times of war, when the Israelites had taken certain groups captives, like the Philistines or whatever. They were given much better and much more fair conditions comparative to how the Gentiles would enslave the Israelites back then, or other nations throughout time.
Maybe, but it's not in the commandments. I don't even think rape is in the commandments. It's just like
it was a part of the law. It was a part of the law.
Rape is in the commandments. It's condemned in Deuteronomy chapter 22.
Yeah.
Is Deuteronomy a commandment?
You're not allowed to do to your slave. There's certain forms of violence
well,
you cannot do to your slave.
God's commandments are not just the Ten Commandments.
The slaves are given. Okay?
I said that I was speaking of the
That's so bad to you. And this is at a time, by the way, Chad, when slavery is prevalent. It is the most common form of
Everyone knows that. That's not a good argument. God is omniscient.
It seems like people always like.
It's not an argument.
Wait a second. So your argument is God is omniscient, so God should just undermine everything and expect men to just follow up with something they can't do.
I mean, someone's
what kind of God is that?
Someone's an undermined, which is what you said.
God is undermining people's capacity to obey Him if He gives them stringent restrictions that no one can obey.
What if I don't believe in a God that needs obedience from His children?
God doesn't need anything. The question is, does God say it? Yes, He does.
In a book that I don't buy. And I would buy it if you can convince me, but you sound super triggered.
You don't care about history. No, it's not being triggered. It's that simply your arguments are nothing more than emotional rants.
No, you say that to everybody. You've said that 1,000 times in this room. I guarantee it.
What's your argument?
Against each thing, there would be a different argument. The main argument is I can't find one good, true reason to believe.
Simple. Is your morality reflective of Christian influence in society? It is. By definition, the reason why you know for a fact that you deserve punishment for murdering someone or raping them or stealing from them or any other evil deed is because of what Christian morality spread throughout the world gave to you. And you don't ever appreciate that, just like many other heathens.
Of course I do. My mother was a Catholic, and I got a lot of my morality from a Catholic. That doesn't mean that the overall theology is true.
Why would you obey that morality
if you
think it's evil, disgusting, and supports all sorts of things you think are bad?
I think that there can be beautiful sentence and a beautiful man named Jesus and tons of sentences written over by fucked up priests, and I don't have to listen to those.
You mean the same God who says you got to do this or you'll burn in hell forever, and He means it.
When does that first appear? When does hell first appear in any of the Testaments?
In the Old Testament.
Where?
In the Book of Numbers.
In Gehenna.
What can I hear about
From
it?
Gehenna, there's
In the book of Numbers,
A lot of
in the
Jews
book
tell
of
me they don't
Deuteronomy,
have a hell.
in the book of Isaiah, it's in the book of
Yeah,
Job,
in the book
in
of
the
Numbers,
Psalms.
in the book of Numbers, they're swallowed up. The entire camp is swallowed up into the.
A camp is nothing.
Dathan, Abiram, and Kor were all swallowed up into the earth and were cast down into hell alive.
Yeah.
In the book
'cause
of
they went against
Deuteronomy,
Moses, the law.
But
it
then
says,
what
I
is
shall
that?
surely bring you down to hell. In the book
Okay,
of
fine.
Psalms, David
What-
explicitly says, do not take me down to hell with the evildoers. Job warns his people for fear that he may go to hell with them for
I
their
didn't say it
evil
isn't
and
in
transgressions.
the book. I said, where's the first place it appears in the Abrahamic trilogy? It's in the Old Testament. What is
Well-
the earliest mention? And what is that verse?
Isn't it Numbers?
Well,
16?
you're talking about in the book of Numbers where Moses expressly is told by God that Kor, Dathan, and Abiram and all their party will be extinguished, destroyed, and
Yeah.
that God opened up the earth to swallow them up and cast them down into the fire beneath the earth.
Yeah, because they had directly rebelled.
I
against
believe
the
there's
standard
fire
that
in the
they had-
middle.
no, that they directly rebelled against the standard that God had set through Moses. After they had a certain raid on Egypt, and they weren't supposed to just take any specific items with them without passing it through the fire to be cleansed through a certain process that they had back then. And there were Israelites like Kor, like Agatha had mentioned, that they had just taken it with them to their camp, blatantly ignoring what was commanded by Moses, and so God had punished them for it. It's Numbers, I think it's number 16 or number 17, around there.
How much could Moses command? Like how much
Whatever
power did
God
Moses
commanded
have?
through him, he was the mediator of that covenant.
But if he I'm not saying he wasn't telling the truth, but in any case, when God is not actually speaking to one of those powerful people, right, then he has a huge authority simply by saying, "God told me."
He has authority that God grants him through him.
Which is interesting because he never abuses that authority, even though he's a prophet of God.
I maybe he didn't abuse that authority. I think he has possibly abused some of his miracle powers.
That was some crackhead confession.
Yeah, give us an
I
example.
mean, the miracles that were for the benefit of his people, like when Moses actually broke God's commandment, when he was told to strike the rock once for the water to be released, but he was too impatient, so he struck it twice just because his people kept moaning and groaning. Come on, hurry up, Moses, where's the water at? So he got impatient and angry and he struck it twice.
Or
And he
all the
even
times
disobeyed
when-
God.
You know, the times when Moses went to God and he's like, listen, my people are hungry, they need to eat, they're starving, they're thirsty. Then God makes it rain
Gave manna.
from the sky.
Yeah.
What about
Exodus.
all the famines since then, where people prayed? They're like anyone, if God exists, if you are there, please save my children with rain, and it didn't come just because they didn't
Yeah,
know who
disgusting
he
that is.
was, because they didn't know who he was.
That's the sin of presumption. Those pagans who are praying to their false gods, they don't deserve anything from God.
Pagans,
Because
I
the
call
person
them.
they're invoking is not the true God.
But
They're
that's
worshiping a demon and they're asking the demon to do something the demon can't do.
you're a small minority in the world, right, that believes that. It's not like the majority of the world believes this. So, like, you
What do
are
you mean?
in
The majority
minority.
of the belief. Hold it. The majority of the world believed that there was a God. So you're actually the minority through all human history. You don't even believe in a God.
No.
The
Secondly,
thing is, Chad, is that you're treating
The
the
Juda-
Bible.
Judaic
your
religion-
God is different.
Chad, you're
Most
treating the
people in
Bible-
history
you're
have been
treating- hold on,
ignorant
Chad,
as
you're
fuck.
You're treating the Bible like it's just a story. Do not forget that it's
No, it's
also
a ton of
historical
stories.
documentation.
Some of it
It's
is.
It's a historical documentation of what actually occurred, certain events. So all of those those references to different pagan gods like Baal or Asheroth or so on and so forth.
Moloch.
Those are actual things. Moloch. There's a.
But if
plethora of
if
them.
I
Look
was
at
writing a
First-
story about
look
God,
at First
right?
and Second Kings. Look at the First and Second Chronicles. All the different false gods that the Israelites were bowing down to. Okay.
If I were-
This is
if-
a documentation of those events that happened.
If I were to make up a God, would I say that San Antonio lost the NBA semifinals tonight? Would I write fake shit about where New York City was if I was trying to write a Bible
wait
and
a
get
second.
people?
But here's
I
the
would
criteria
say
of
real
embarrassment. If
shit
it's all
about the
fake shit-
obvious truths.
Hold on, Chad. If it's all fake shit, don't you think that the person who's writing it would do his very best to say God's going to only praise his people? Yeah, Israel's the greatest. It's so good. They're great people. I love them. Look at they're best of the best. Oh no, he calls them whores. He calls them harlots. He calls them filthy, disgusting idolaters. He promises that he's going to torment them and punish them every time they break his commandments. He even had Moses slaughter 23,000 of them for worshiping the golden calf. It doesn't seem like it's a great story praising these Israelites as if they're the best of the best, but always reminding them you're only the best when you obey God.
It sounds
And
very
it-
man-like,
and
though, to
whatever they
describe people in such a shitty way. Like,
And
you're
yet even-
you're fucking scum, you're my enemies. I made you, but you fucking suck because you disobeyed one command from an
Hold on,
authority figure.
Hold on, say that again. Because you disobey. So why even disobey then? If you didn't disobey, you wouldn't have to be punished, right? It's that simple.
Yeah.
You don't want to go to
It's like-
prison? Don't
But
be a
it's
thief.
still a
Don't be a
horrible
murderer.
threat, like a
Don't be
man, like a
disgusting.
king
Let's apply some
does.
context here. God created them and gave them the ability to do great things. Okay, not even necessarily have to live their life just serving Him in every like way, shape, or form. They gave man and woman the ability to do things, to experience pleasures, to experience life. And they've seen all these great miracles that God has done through Moses, through the different mediators of the covenant from the Old Testament. They had all these opportunities to worship the one true God. And what did they do? They abandoned the one true God, the one that took them out of Egypt, the one that has saved them all these times, that has done all of these great miracles in front of them, to worship these false gods. Okay. On top of it, while engaging in the exact thing that opposed the very standard which God has set before them, right, through the law.
What are the great
Which is
miracles that
God's
are
It's not
not
even-
that are not nepotistic or simplistic? What are the great
It's not
miracles?
nepotistic. God's not. It's not nepotistic
What
because
are
it
the
didn't always benefit
miracles
Israel.
that are great and not nepotistic? What is the
Simple.
greatest
When
miracle
God rescued
besides
the
the
Israelites
resurrection?
out of Egypt, when God rescued the Israelites out of Egypt from the bonds of slavery, from the yoke of slavery and servitude, notice it wasn't this easy thing you could do. In fact, there were many tests just on the way. In fact, when the Israelites reached towards the Red Sea, they were already complaining, Moses, what are you going to do now? Pharaoh's army's behind us. What's going to happen? What do we do? Come on, Moses, you brought us out here to die? Look at that. They're already complaining when they just saw how God sent plagues to Egypt, destroyed the Egyptians, thwarted their capacities, and specifically made it so that Pharaoh would release them.
Does God send all
And what does
plagues?
God-
Does God send
Immediately
all
sends a-
plagues?
After giving Pharaoh multiple chances, despite stealing God's people and refusing to actually accept what the real God was asking of them, despite like multiple times plagues were said, like
They
it wasn't just a
didn't-
one-time thing. He
Obviously
gave them
they-
many. He gave Pharaoh many chances.
But none of the other plagues came from God, right? We know where they come from. We can create
No, they
them.
all
Some of them
came from
have
God.
been created. They all come from God. All the plagues. Just in that case,
Yes.
it was a special
You want
people
the
who
next
wanted to
verse?
sell their book. The people who are the greatest at telling stories in history. I love the Jews. They're amazing at making shit up. Like I think the
Why
Old
would they make
Testament
up
is so
things
much more
that
gibberish
only
than the New Testament, and you base your philosophy, you base your theology
Chad.
upon that. You have
Chad,
to.
why are they making books to
Jesus
insult
had to believe in the
themselves?
Old Testament, right? He had to.
Chad, make it make sense. According to the criteria of embarrassment, why would they completely speak so horribly about themselves, how God completely disgusts them, abhors them, abominates them, that God threatens to destroy them on so many occasions for how evil they are, that God even destroyed their temple, the holiest place ever, that God always detests them and tells them how wicked they are? Why would they write this about themselves, make it up, so to speak, if it's all talking bad about them, making them look like the worst
Who
people
said
to
maybe
ever
they don't
walk the
believe
face
it?
of the
Maybe they
earth?
think they're superior and they want to get people on their knees to behave. They probably didn't believe it if they said that. They probably were
but
trying to
the Bible
control
doesn't
people and
show
say,
them
"You're
as
pieces of
superior."
shit. Get on your knees."
Wait a second.
What
So
else
your
would you
argument
tell
is
them? You
they
want them to be
They
subjects.
write about. Hold on. They write about how great they are, while at the same time shitting on themselves. That's quite weird.
How many people wrote
That's
this?
high IQ, bro. That's the highest level psyop you can.
This
run.
is like crazy, dude. I mean, are you even like
That- it's
are you
so
even like
absurd.
familiar with like the Babylonian
Constructing entire
exile?
theology.
But, like all of
Let
like,
me go ahead and
Israel,
write
like,
about
went from,
how
like, a
God
great
punished my
nation.
people.
But nobody would trust a
Let me
book
write
like
about
that
how these
from today in
pagans are
2000.
invading
Like,
my country, killing
you
my
think
children.
Yes, we do, Chad. Not only do we put our faith in
There's-
it, but we actually
there's
have archaeological findings.
a
and
few
different
things you
testimonies throughout
have
history.
like against
We have,
like thousands
not
of
just a few things.
Not a few.
There's-
Not a
we
few.
have we have a plethora of things. Okay.
saying that it's
We have
true.
a multitude of
Say-
different
saying
things,
that the
right?
crazy
Different
claims are
archaeological
true.
findings that have
Because there
shown
was a
consistency,
city
that have shown
here.
consistency with the Old Testament claims about certain locations, certain battles that have been fought, certain artifacts or whatever.
Why
Okay,
would
these
they
things have
lie
been
about
consistently found,
that?
and they are consistently
Why would
being
they
found
lie
more and more
about
throughout time.
that? Why would they lie about that? Why would they lie
Well,
about
that's
shit
a
that
good
is
question. That's what
real?
I'm
They're not
asking
going to
you.
lie about
Because you're
shit that
saying
is
it can't be real.
real.
You're saying that it can't be real. Well, I'm telling you, well, the Old Testament makes certain claims about certain events and certain artifacts or certain locations, and throughout history, we've been able to find a lot of different archaeological findings that show that consistency.
It's exactly what I
Like,
would do,
what's the
though. If
point?
I was trying to create something fake, like a philosophy or a god, I would point out to all the real shit, and they'd be like, oh my god, he's talking about shit that's real, like science and shit. Plus, here's this other stuff that happened in this geographical and historical setting, right? And it's magical as hell to 5.5 billion people in the world. Here's this other shit that's completely unprovable. Like, you're gonna prove the
You know what,
resurrection?
Chad?
You
Chad, I'm
only
not even gonna
have
grant any of
words
those
that were
things, but
written
I'm gonna put
decades
this right back
later.
on you, Chad. I'm gonna put this right back on you. Not only am I not gonna grant anything that you just said, right? I'm now gonna ask you for what's your proof. Since I don't even know what your God is, you just said that I think God might be this, I think God
I
might be that.
don't know God
We
if he
presented to you, we
exists.
presented to you many different forms of proofs. We can spend all night talking about the different archaeological findings and different manuscripts, different traditions that have been passed down for thousands of years. We have that. Furthermore, the thousands of years of Christianity and church history, and the actual personal relationship that you can have with Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. All you so far have told us is that you think that your God is everything, and he's this pulsating God that changes
That's
and
all
explodes and
I've
kills himself.
said. That's all
I don't
I've
even know where that comes
said.
from. I don't know how you
That's
know
not all I've said, is it? I've said many
that. I don't know.
other
Did you have something more
things.
interesting to add on to that? Because so far I'm thoroughly unconvinced.
I didn't expect that you would be convinced, certainly not quickly. I mean, there are a ton of arguments. We could talk about it all night. Like, I know that if you're right, at this point, I'm going to suffer forever, right? I have children. I have no fear. I'll tell you one more weird thing, okay? My mother was Catholic, an amazing woman. Really, I'm not like, I wasn't responsible for her. Amazing woman. She died. If there's a heaven and she's not there believing in Jesus the way she did and all the good works in all denominations, she would go to heaven. She's in heaven. It's weird that she cannot see me. She cannot hear me. She cannot absorb any of my suffering. She does not understand that she has a grandson. That's weird that in a perfect paradise, she cannot see her own family, which is real. We are also real. Even if heaven's real, we're also real. If there's another plane, like the Vedics say, this is also a thing that is real. It's weird that my mom can't see me. It's weird that a mother in heaven can have a son in hell. That alone would make it pretty hard for me to believe what you believe.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
A mom can be in heaven and her son can go to hell. That's weird as fuck because you have to disconnect them forever and she has to forget her own family. I would not kill my son for God
All you've told me so far is that this is weird. You haven't explained to me as to like why.
I just said that's weird as shit.
Better explanation for your standard. Yeah, I understand what you said.
I have a good
but
explanation for my standard.
So far you have a pulsating God that you don't really understand anything about.
Of course I don't understand God. And like,
okay, yet our God has revealed himself to us consistently, has been unchanging. We have multiple different archaeological findings to support this. Right, we have different testimony, eyewitness accounts to the many miracles.
Eyewitness accounts are worth as much as the papyrus they're transcribed onto.
He's revealed himself for thousands of years. No, it's not just the papyrus that we have. Right, that's just the manuscript.
No, it's words written on paper. Eyewitness accounts don't mean shit. They don't mean anything.
Words written on paper.
What do you have, recordings?
There's more
of witnesses of the resurrection, of the empty tomb?
Those are other things that go.
A sixth grader could fake that. A sixth grader could fake an empty tomb.
At a time when most people aren't exactly like the most articulate or have more of a finite access to resources to write on. Do you know how difficult it was back then to actually obtain pieces of papyrus and then to write on these things? Mind you, just to document like with thousands and thousands of pages, which is what they did. Just in the Greek, in the New Testament alone, there's like 5,800 manuscripts of this Jesus guy. Okay, the most
it's powerful, right? It gives you the biggest promises of any.
One layer of proof.
But it's not proof. That's not a layer of proof. Having numbers is not proof. Like there were a lot of Nazis. It's not proof of anything. Eyewitness accounts mean nothing. The resurrection is your biggest miracle, right? It's the biggest miracle.
This is an example of something tangible, and if I were to just make an argument about manuscripts alone, it would most certainly be more than whatever you can provide.
It's not proof of any kind that there are copies. You threatened people with eternal damnation.
Chill out, dude. You gotta chill the hell out. The point
Me?
that I'm trying to make is that it's
Listen to yourself.
More proof than you have provided any of us here tonight. All you've told us so far is that you think your God is real and that He's everything.
You've said that 5 times now.
God that has, because you still haven't given.
But it's not all I said. We've discussed other things. Did you forget that we discussed other things?
Please continue. Please go on. Tell us all about your God. How do you?
I don't have a lot to say about what I think God is. You interrupted me before I finished it, and it's 1,000 times shorter than your story, and it doesn't involve presumption or presupposition.
Go ahead.
You're just yipping.
I'm not. That is not true.
I'm waiting. Go ahead.
That's just not true what he said. I like Aquila, but that's not. I'm not yipping. I
go ahead,
disagree, and
tell
you're
us more
judging
about
me
your
in an
God.
unchristian way because I'm disagreeing.
I'm asking you, you don't. I mean, you're not even Christian, so you're not even able to say that. And
I
I'm
can
asking
say,
Chad,
of course I can
prove to me
say
your God.
that.
Show me proof of your God's existence.
I don't have like that we're having this conversation is proof that like what I believe in like exists in some way. I don't
All
believe
that
in
is
yours, and
proof
you're
of
mad
is
at
that you
that.
think. No, I'm not mad at anything. All that you just told me so far is that the very fact that you exist, which you can't even ground any your existence.
I
in
don't
anything at
have
all.
to. I have my
Right,
consciousness and
so far, all you've
experience.
told me, all right, is that well, we're having this conversation, therefore, like my God is true. I don't. How
I
do I
didn't say
interact with this
true.
God?
I said something
How do I-
akin to everything exists that exists,
You're not
right?
doing much listening,
I'm
Chad.
part of it, and
How
I
do
can
I
talk to
know?
you.
How do I know, Chad, that your God is one, real,
You
two,
don't.
that I can have any form of relation with him? Oh, I don't?
You can have a relationship with my God in one sense because I said he is everything and therefore he is you, right? And
Okay,
he
how
is
do I
me.
interact with this
So
God?
we just talk to each other. Or you talk, or
Okay,
you
so I'm God now?
you pet a rabbit, or you grow a tree. It's all God. Of course, I believe simply that you are made of the particles, whatever you call particles, and the energy that was originally God. That God was everything. That's it. You don't think
Okay,
he's
let's do
everything.
this.
I think
So-
he's everything. You don't. Yes.
So, Chad, do you believe that that's an objective standard?
I think that is the objective standard. Like, if it's
Okay.
real, then that is the
Perfect,
objective
perfect.
standard. That God is everything.
Perfect. Okay, so you believe that that's the objective standard. So if some random dude comes
If
out
I'm
here
right.
today, if some random dude comes out of nowhere, all right, and just tells you right now that yeah, my God is like some random cloud, okay, that appears every once in a while, and he's interacted with me, and he completely contradicts your God, and we put you guys both side by side. How do we know who is correct?
I mean, you wouldn't know. I don't know if I don't think either one of us could prove it. What you'd find out is that if he's an average guy, you'd probably look at me and you'd be like, "This guy's honestly at the end, you'd be like, this guy's a genius, and he utilizes the blessings that God gave him. And this other guy is just an average guy, nothing against him, but one guy seems super profound and excited and intelligent and creative, and the other guy is just a person.
Appeal to their intelligence. Which
What else do you do if you can't prove it?
I don't
We
even
can
know
do.
what your criteria. I don't even know what your criteria of measurement.
I mean, the
is
first thing
for
I would
that.
say
But
is
I have to measure their intelligence and appeal to a subjective standard to get to the objective standard, which is your God, which you didn't even know what that.
I would
objective
have
standard is measured
questions.
by.
There would be words. I would say first to the person, do you believe that a descendant of another being can be truly responsible for the sins of the one that created them? Like, can we be responsible for God's sins? Can we be held responsible for God's sin? The invention of sin is a sin. You don't think so, but it doesn't mean anything that you don't think so. They're just words anyways. But God invented sin in your book, and there's no price he pays except that he suffers for us.
I'm not asking about Jesus Christ. Right now, so far all you've done is you've appealed to like the world around you, which is great. You said that God is everything, God is this and that, and then you've also stated at the same time that that is an objective standard. So in this hypothetical that I'm giving you, if you have some random individual that makes a similar claim, but his God contradicts your God completely, and he also makes the claim that that is the objective standard, and we put you guys both side by side, how do we know who is correct?
I could think about that, like experiments to run. In the one case, I'd be like, I have very little to say, so I can't do a ton to prove mine. I can ask you questions about his. And if you agree, as a subjective, you're not God, that there are logical contradictions that make this God impossible, then I ask you maybe to vote for me and say what I'm saying is more likely to be true than this other person. I can't prove my God. I didn't say, I said I think the most likely case is that God is everything. And I can't even get you to say, do you or do you not believe that? Is God everything or not? That's an important question. No, will you answer the question? Will you answer the question? You won't even answer a question that you will make you uncomfortable.
So far, what you've demonstrated is that you don't even know how to articulate.
You're not answering the question, are you? You're pretending that it's not a genuine question. I'm asking you a question. You won't answer it. Why? I don't get it.
I didn't hear your question. I was just saying,
is God everything or is God not?
No, I don't believe that God is everything. No.
Okay, so there's more. So there's God and some other thing in the universe. that is not
believe
him.
I believe that our God. I believe that our God has created everything, and He's revealed Himself to us, and He allows us to have a personal relationship with us, which is consistent, all right, and it's something that we've had for thousands of years, and He's performed all these miracles for us, which we can back up.
Which
not only
ones?
With,
Let's
with
go.
this
Which
account,
miracles?
Not only with this account. I mean, we can go throughout the entire Gospels and pick them
No,
apart.
give
like,
me
fine.
anything. Give me another besides the resurrection. Give me another miracle. Feeding
Yeah, sure,
one
when Jesus,
one group of
healed the
people.
blind, when Jesus healed the blind, there
How
were
many?
different prophetic
How
revelations
many?
He came
How
to.
many blind people?
How many went? How many went?
How many blind
There's an
people
example
did
in the
he cure?
Gospels. There's
How
an
many?
example in the Gospels.
How
There's
many
an
did he
example in the
cure?
This guy's
Gospels.
obviously a
How many
troll.
things you want?
I'm not a
Like, how many things you
troll.
want,
I'm
Chad?
an
Like,
inventor
you
and
seem like you're
a
exactly
student
interested in
of the
having a genuine
truth.
conversation.
What we're saying is what we're saying. I'm not a troll. You can just
Just
fake
one.
shit. I'm not a troll. Aquila, am I a troll? Like, do we just never talk again? You're just gonna say some, like, agree with them saying horrible shit about me? I'm not a genuine person. Aquila, are you there? Do you think I'm fake?
Yeah.
Do you think I'm a troll? Is that, if you think that, like, I thought you were awesome. If you think I'm a troll, like, my purpose is to, like, fuck with people, or I'm lying, just tell me that you think that, and you're the one I know here, and I will just go. I don't need to have these things said about me. There are trolls. There was one in here before, but that's not what I am. I disagree, and I'm doing my best. You have a very specific, subjective collection of thousands of pages, and many of them I do not agree with, and I have other thoughts. You get, like, right? I have other thoughts and other beliefs. Mine are simpler, definitely, and I think it's not ridiculous to think that God is everything, or at least that at one point He was everything. Was God
Your belief
everything?
is simpler.
Was if
Your
God
belief is that God died. How is that simple?
well, because he's been reborn. His children, like the first generation I've seen of what I would call God's children on a human level, the way you maybe think humans are special, is maybe 10, 20,000 years ago, maybe 5,000 years ago. I don't know things, and I don't have to exist. I can simply be a being and a student of the truth and the light. I can believe that God is everything. There's nothing wrong with that. And I know my own sins. I don't think there are any bad sins that I've ever committed that I don't know of. And I've sinned. None of them would any God punish someone forever for. Even like the guy, the sheriff of Nottingham, wouldn't punish somebody forever for what I've done, right? So
That's because you offended a temporal being. Are you offending an eternal being when you offend God? You are.
but how much? Like a small, like I steal
Infinitely.
a magazine.
Infinitely.
By stealing one magazine, I create an infinite offense against against an eternal God, not a small offense.
Because the person you're offending himself is eternal and infinite.
Why does he? Then why can't he forgive in a quantum of infinity?
You're looking at a magazine.
You're talking about the temporality of the act. You're not necessarily determining what the impact is.
What if I steal food from a king, so my kids don't die? Is that like?
Chad, you're looking at this wrong. You're saying that okay, it's just a magazine, it's just this and that. That's not the point. The point is that God has set the ultimate standard. He's created us. He's given us an opportunity to live, to experience life, to have pleasures, to have families, to experience euphoria, go out into the world and explore things and do things and interact with them. And all you've done so far is said, well, I don't really think that this is that bad. Even though my God has created me, I'm just gonna do this. I don't think it's that bad, but I'm gonna go against the good standard which God is.
I want the true
This is
standard.
not good or bad. Who are
And
you to say that? God created you.
I can't determine the absolute true standard. Like any God,
notice what you
any
said.
God could do what you said. Make us so we could have families. Make it so we could have euphoria and crops. Like any God.
But it's not about being euphoric or having benefit in this world.
It's being
In fact,
gifted from God.
That's what it seems like your God is. Your God is all about what makes my life here easier, rather than
Not
what
at all.
guarantees my life
Not
better
at
in the
all.
next.
Was it hard for God to make us?
It was easy for God to make us, and it was also easy for us to obey Him, right?
I think it was hard, but okay, you think it was
hard
easy
to
for
obey
God
him?
to make us. No,
What's so difficult about the task of obeying?
I said,
what's so
is it
difficult about
hard
not stealing?
to make us? We were still on that.
I answered
Like,
that
you want to
question.
jump?
I
You
answered
want
that
to
question.
jump to something where you think you have, but like you're
I'm going to
not.
repeat
You
my
weren't even
answer
in
to
this
your question.
conversation
Hopefully
so
you'll engage
much.
further than just repeating the question. You said, is it easy for God to make us? I said, yes. I said, is it easy for you to obey Him?
I mean, that's. I don't think that there are any commandments from God anywhere. So yeah, because he hasn't.
So you
he
don't
doesn't
believe
tell
you should
us
not
to
murder?
do things. No, I believe that you shouldn't, and a Christian
Why?
brought morality to me primarily. I
Why
believe
should you not
Christianity
murder?
has spread
A
things
Christian
that
would say, but Chet, you see how you're saying Christians brought morality to you, right? And the Christian would
Doesn't
say the reason why
mean-
murder is wrong is because it's evil, it's a transgression. You have no right to take that person's life, and secondarily, God commanded it.
what
Yeah. Also,
which
for
one's more
example,
important?
I could say Agatha that I'm not going to murder you because one, you're made in the image of God, and two, that would go against God's standard, part of the 10 Commandments, which God told us, which says to not murder people. Why would I murder? Why would I murder Agatha? He's an innocent person. He's made in the image of God. That's what I can say.
Why
What can
would you
say as to
murder
what
an
reason?
innocent person anyways? Like, why would you think that our default is to murder a person? Children raised with food
That's
and
not-
love
well, that's not the
never
question. The
murder
question is
anyone,
that's
no
not the
matter what their
question at all.
religion.
The question is why is that wrong though? We're
It-
able
it-
to answer
I-
that in
I-
the
I
Christian
don't-
worldview,
I
which
don't-
you're
I-
arguing against.
I don't know. There are, honestly, you can get into rabbit holes. Why is it wrong to murder someone? Is that like something like that?
That's
Like,
what I'm asking
why
you, yeah.
is it wrong? Why is it wrong
Yes,
to
I'm asking you.
covet someone's wife? Like,
Yeah,
why
exactly.
is it wrong to have an idol or whatever the fuck that
Exactly.
is?
Dude, I
Exactly.
honestly think this guy is a troll.
And you want to know something, Chad? You want to know something, Chad? This is a problem within your worldview because you said that God is everything. Well, let's actually use that for a second. Okay. Well, if we're just gonna appeal to God being everything, then certain animals just will walk up to other animals and just start having sex with them to procreate. Okay. Can you do that in just society? Can you just go up to random women and fornicate with them?
What? No, I mean, you could try. It's basically be rape, right? Like, I mean,
Wouldn't that be rape?
it
Couldn't
was
that be rape?
like there was a lot of rape until humans, and I'm not saying Christians did not have a part of spreading a morality that kind of lines up in a number of ways with what I think any decent system would eventually come up with to guide their people. Like, listen, we shouldn't kill each other because it's fucking bad for us. It's bad for, like, then someone can kill your kid too, right? So we agree to make rules. Murder's bad partially
Wait a
because
second.
it's terrible for a society, right? It's terrible for a society to have a bunch
Murder's
of
bad
murders.
because people can murder you. They'll murder
That's
you
part of
despite
the
what you
reason
think.
murders, if they can't murder you, you probably develop a different philosophy. If you can
What
also
do you
be
mean? They
murdered,
can murder you. They have no obligation to not murder you just because you don't
there's
murder
no
them.
obligation of any kind. Obviously, pretty much anyone can murder anyone. God can only deal afterwards unless he wants to perform a miracle. Of course, it's
Right,
not
but
hard to
notice what you
murder
said.
people.
You said the only reason why
I didn't say the only.
people are not murdered
Didn't say
is
the only.
that. Well, you gave it as primary reason.
Well, I
but you
didn't. Well,
mention the
don't
others,
say
so
only because
it's
that's
quite
just
explicit.
faking what I said for your argument's sake.
All right, let me rephrase it, devil. It's the only one you
Devil?
gave, making all others worthless. Because you strictly said that, well, the only reason why I don't murder you is because I wouldn't want you to do that. What?
I mean, I'm
you,
not.
You
I'm,
don't do it because you don't want someone else. In fact, you even said that wouldn't help us. Yes, it would, because if that guy was a fucking millionaire and he had $1 million in his pocket, if I murdered him, I can also take it from him and have no consequences.
and then they can.
Because
Well, they
who's
can
gonna punish me
also
for murder?
take it from you just because in the same way with no consequences.
How would that make it wrong?
Wrong is a word that we probably had to create. I think we all have an
God.
idea that like beating the shit out of a child is wrong. You don't
just
have
said
to
it's
know
wrong.
why.
You just said it's wrong. You said murder is
Wait.
wrong.
Why is it wrong to beat the shit out of a child?
I said I think if you do an experiment, you're gonna find out that almost everyone who beats up a child, like beats the shit out of a child, if you spy on them, they have a conversation with a friend. They're like, I am so fucking disturbed. I felt that what I did was wrong. You have to invent the word wrong, but I
Okay,
think
so-
everyone would think that beating
people
up
don't
an
think
innocent, punishing an innocent
You're
is wrong.
You're just assuming that
Not
people feel that way.
just.
There are people out there that actually go out of their way to beat and rape children.
And if there
they don't
weren't,
pursue
we
the
wouldn't
same
have a
exact way.
Bible. If there were if there weren't bad people, we probably wouldn't be able to control people with a Bible. They see the evil of man. People
don't
ascribe
control
the
people
evil.
with the Bible.
People take the
But
evil of
notice what you're
man,
saying.
which they've definitely seen, and they ascribe it to
You're actually
God.
proving that God certainly revealed the scriptures because you're saying it takes a quote unquote book of made up stories to convince pretty much the entire human population to act right.
I mean, but they don't.
That's
But
crazy.
they don't. But
That's crazy.
they don't.
With
And
all
you
their
still
false
need
religions
police.
and them making stuff up, you need
still
the
need-
Bible to do that?
You need police in every society in the world. They don't really behave, right? And just, I'm not saying that if you made up a religion, you wouldn't pick some things that made sense, right? I think any
they had
religion
different
would say
religions back
murder's
then,
wrong,
Chad.
but the Bible doesn't say murder's wrong.
No, that's not
Only
true, Chad. That's
some
false.
murders
There
are
were pagan
wrong.
gods. No, hold on. There were different groups of pagans that they would regularly sacrifice children. That was a regular thing. Every day they would gather, all right, and do a ceremonial sacrifices of children.
Yeah, and the
This
Bible
was a
sanctions
normal
murder
thing.
too,
This
with
was a
permission.
normal thing. This was a normal thing. All right, you would have to sacrifice your child and burn them alive and sacrifice them to the gods.
You're
So
right. You're right. You are
the
right.
fact that every
Also
single religion-
yours.
that
You're
every
right. You're
single,
right.
Like religion is good is not the case at all whatsoever.
But I don't.
Yeah,
I think they were doing
terrible
that for a
religions out
purpose.
there.
I think they were wrong, but I don't think they were like just go murder, right? They're like, we're doing this specifically because God said this kind of murder is good, just like you do. Murder the whatever the people are that God said in the Old Testament, just murder them.
No,
kill.
our God
The Bible's.
commands us to kill in the Old Covenant.
All right, yeah, killing and murder are not always the same thing. I'd say
No.
if it doesn't have a good reason behind it, it's probably murder, and you're just calling it killing and not murder because God says
actually,
it, so it's not murder. But if it's a
Can you
made-up
define what
word, then
murder
you
would
can
be?
kill somebody and just call it not murder.
Well, when is the right to murder someone?
I think there is there. I don't know if there are any fucking rights. I believe that we should make them up if they don't exist. But I don't think that in a state of nature, before humans existed, I don't think there were any rights. You just ate whatever the fuck you wanted. Did we decide with the help of religion that maybe we shouldn't do? Yeah, we did. Religion helped us as a people, whether it's right or wrong. In some, like some of the bigger religions, said, don't, you shouldn't do these things. And some of them were more or less threatening, like, please don't do these. And I think that helped the world. Doesn't mean that the other shit is true, right? You're right. Christianity helped more, like a larger morality to permeate the world, and most of it's pretty fucking good. I don't think anyone's saying the Bible's full of horrible commandments. Like I think they're like, it's kind of close, like a lot of it is good. Most of it's good. They're probably missing some, and they got to justify slavery because, like, oh, God has to adapt himself to the people on the planet, but he doesn't have to
Where
do
does
that.
the Bible justify slavery?
I don't know exactly in the Bible. When you teach somebody how to treat your slaves instead of to let them free, I think that's a kind of like sort of ad hoc justification.
Wait,
right?
hold on. So like back then, and we were.
Doesn't
talking
matter.
about this before.
Doesn't matter that it's back then. I don't want to
No,
do
it
that.
absolutely
You
does.
can't.
Well, it
It doesn't
absolutely does
matter.
matter because
God is
has set
eternal.
standards as to
This is a tiny
God,
thought.
God set standards for when there was times of war, how the Israelites were supposed to treat the Gentile slaves, and they were actually treated quite well. They had a lot of rights. They were given certain civil rights as well. Okay, the ability to even dwell within the land.
You already did this, and we heard it. It's fine.
Certain things.
Certain things, but they were under control, like you are under
Half a
control.
brain cell right now, and you're just jumping all over the place. And I'm
Why are you
trying to get
operating on half a brain cell?
Because it's like 2 a.m, and you're just jumping all over the place. I'm trying to understand.
It's
why
2
you
a.m.
think
here
X,
too.
Y, and Z. I'm trying to understand why you think X, Y, and Z is wrong, and all you can tell me is that, well, I think this, I think that. I'm trying to understand what your God has done for us. You don't even know what your God is. So far, you told me that your God Paul Satan and he has killed himself. Right?
I wasn't trying to sell my God.
The Christian God. So here's where we're at right now, and I want you to be quiet for a second. Here's where we're at. So far, you don't know anything about anything. You don't know why anything is wrong. You've come here to critique the Christian God. Meanwhile, the Christian God has revealed himself to man, offers a relationship with him. All right, we have hundreds and thousands of different pieces of archaeological findings, thousands of manuscripts. All right, testimony accounts, both atheists and theists. All right. Throughout thousands of years, it's still survived today as an Abrahamic religion. So we have all these things, and I can keep on going. You've provided nothing about your God, no standard for your God. All you've given me is your feelings so far.
I didn't come here to say. I didn't come here to sell my God. I came here when I said to save Aquila. I meant to save him from yours. I didn't say shit about mine. My God is just a vague concept about if God is everything.
About your God. And you came in here begging us to convince you.
And beg. You use so many words that are wrong, right? You've been disingenuous
Chad,
so many times.
Chad, I don't care what word you use. If your intention is here to cause me to apostatize from my faith, my reply is you're banned from the room.
Well, I guess if that's what you call it, I guess that sounds pretty harsh. I only meant if it's not true.
This is fucked
If it's not true, then it's not apostasy, right? If it's not true, it's not apostasy.
We could have a better conversation if we just entrusted in each other that even if somebody's bad faith, that bad faith is in good faith in some weird way. You know what I'm saying?
I actually kind of sort of understand. I mean, I think God is the truth. Like, God's a word. I don't believe in God like you, but I think God is the truth. And I don't know the truth. I get super, like, twisted up and want to speak when I'm told about other religions that strike me as illogical and in some cases very similar to what you do if you were trying to promise and threaten people into getting in line. Like, it's certainly, you can draw analogies between hell and heaven and what men do, like even Trump, to promise and threaten, to manipulate people to get in line. Maybe it's true, but it's very man-like to me. Maybe I got banned. I don't know. No one's saying anything. I probably got banned. Great. Did I? I mean, that's, who was, I don't want to say who's the asshole.